know why he reports, right?
So does he?
They can hear you. We're live.
Yes. So
We're actually live right now.
What?
So if anybody's on, any of my 2 subscribers are watching, one of them includes one of my other channels. So it's just me, and I think Wesley is the other one. All right. Good evening. Can you move down just a little bit? Here. You get up on my. Yeah. All right. There we go. That's more comfortable, isn't it? It says I have 1 viewer. Hello, 1 viewer. Reading the On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness. This will be chapter 4 in On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness. We've read the first 3 chapters. First one we read on our own. Second 2 chapters, 2 and 3, I'm reading with everybody as my family is now going their separate ways to some degree. Why don't you go ahead and turn that light on? I've got a little bit of darkness over here. No pun intended. I don't think that's affecting it much, but that'll work. All right, so chapter 4. A stranger named Espen. The door swung shut behind Tink and Nia, or as Nia pulled up a chair between Poto and Janner. Lad, do you know I love you? Said Poto. Janner nodded, then added, Yes, sir. I know I'm not your father. He was a good man, a brave man. He fought well and died well in the Great War, and it's my duty to raise you children as near as I can to what your father would want. Janner stole a glance at his mother. She fought back tears as she stood and busied herself with clearing the plates from the table. Now, lad, you're getting longer leg and your voice is getting thicker. I expect you figure you're nearing manhood, do you? Poto looked at Janner with one white bushy eyebrow cocked up and the other eye squinting at him. Speak up, lad. Well, I'm 12. I know that's not old, but he broke off, unable to think of what to say. Sometimes you feel like your brother and sister might weigh you down like an anchor. Is that it? Sometimes you feel like this little town's too small for the notions in your head. Janner stared at his hands. With a deep breath, he pulled the picture from his pocket. Nia stopped her cleaning as Janner unfolded the picture and spread it flat on the table. He could hold his tears back no longer. They dripped from the end of his nose onto the picture, mingling with the spray of the sea. Nia hugged Janner's head to her chest and smoothed his hair for a long time. I wondered where that picture had gotten to. It's him? Nia nodded slowly. Yes. And he drew it? Yes. Nia dabbed the tears from the picture with her apron. That was a different time, a different world. She was quiet a long moment. Before the fangs, your father would want nothing more than for you to sail your own seas, and one day you will. But if he were here, he would tell you the same thing your grandfather is telling you. There's a time to sail and a time to stay put. Laddie, I understand more than you might know. Poto's voice was softer, but hear me. I was there when your pa died. I didn't see it, but I was there all the same. Janner looked up sharply. You were there? What happened? Aye. Papa, no, Nia said. It's time he knew something of where he's from, lass. Poto pointed at the drawing, then at Janner. Look at it. He's a spitting image. I don't see what that has to do with anything. Raising Esben's memory from the dead will do no good. No good, Nia's voice trembled. Janner hated seeing his mother so upset, but desperately wanted to hear more. His name was Esben? Janner hoped to keep Poto talking. Poto and Nia looked at him with sad eyes. Nia kissed Janner's hair. No more, please, she said to Poto and left the room. Janner was silent. Poto was silent. The flaps in the bag were silent. Finally, Poto cleared his throat. Well, you must trust me. I see your father in you. He was a great man. He fought for us, died fighting for us. Your wee sister and brother are treasures, same as you. I wouldn't have our treasures lost. The old man leaned forward and lowered his voice. Blood was shed that you 3 might breathe the good air of life. And if that means you have to miss out on a Zibzee game, then so be it. Part of being a man is putting others' needs before your own. Janner thought of Tink and Lily. The idea of always having to look out for them still galled him, but he did love them. He wanted to be a good, brave man like his father, whose name he had just heard for the first time. Yes, sir. I'll try, he said, not quite able to meet Poto's eyes. Janner folded up the picture and looked at Poto questioningly. Poto gave his permission with a nod, and Janner placed the picture back in his pocket with care. So, lad, since you're so old now, why don't you and your brother and sister head over to the festival without your mother and me for a while? We still have some chores to mind. You're in charge. But Mama said that Lily couldn't. Hoda laughed. I'll see to your mother. Just keep your sister close. Your mother and I'll be along directly. Can you handle that? Yes, sir, Jenner said, suddenly unsure that he could. Hodo clapped his hand on the table. Right then. Now, there's something I need you to do for me before you three head out to the festival. He handed the sack of flaps to Jenner and lowered his voice. Would you mind dumping these stinkers over the cliff for your dear Podo? Jenner's eyes widened. What? Oh, I'm fooling, Podo said with disappointment. I couldn't do that after Lily's little performance. Podo reached into his pocket and handed Jenner 3 grayish coins. He took another bite of hotcakes, swallowed and burped. Buy yourselves some munchies. And that is chapter 4. We may continue with chapter 5 today. So, if so, I'll be on in just a moment.